Anyone right here? I got one right here. Is it okay?
Free money. Must be free money. Why else would all these people be here?
You should have one on.
I don't think he's deserved.
That's right, Ed.
Fire marshal, let us call it equal. There's one or two. Water rates. They might put that on. That's the there'll be a lot of people to talk. Yeah, that's
Are you
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to call this meeting to order, the Madison County Board of Commissioners regular business meeting, March 31st, 2025 at 6 p.m. Please stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. In consideration for everyone here, we're going to change up this agenda just a little bit. We will go through the initial. Gentlemen, you have a copy of the February 24th, 2025 public hearing, the minutes from the February 24th, 2025 regular business meeting, and the minutes from March 3rd, 2025 agenda setting work session. If you see no discrepancies, I'd entertain a motion. Move minutes be approved as presented. Motion by Commissioner Chalmers, Have a second by Commissioner Adams. Any discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none. Commissioner Adams?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Right.
Yes.
Motion carries. Business involving guest groups and multiple visitors. Library quarterly report, Ms. Alita Turner.
Hello. Hello. You have my last quarter of 2024 report. I'm not going to read that to you. I would invite you to read that at your leisure. What I would like to talk about a little bit this evening is this other document you have in front of you, the year in review. I just want to highlight that through 2024, we had 55,500 patrons walk through the door, and they borrowed almost 72,000 items. We gave almost 400 new library cards. People use the computers and they use Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi use continues to grow every quarter. We had over 5,000 people attend library programs, and we answered over 25,500 questions. So we're serving the residents of Madison County, and that we're staying busy with that. Related to that, the patrons appreciate the library, and they appreciate that the commission supports the library. We've been collecting thank you cards for you all, and I'm going to read just a few of them. I'm not going to take up a lot of time. First of all, in very large child handwriting, I love all the books, and it's signed by Gregory. Stella Cutaway says, I'm so appreciative of being able to meet with the Needle Crafters group in the Jerry Ayers room. It's a comfortable place to meet. Craft books that are available for checkout are also helpful and useful to us. The library staff help us with books requested. Thank you so much for your support of our Madison County Library. Sherry Deacon, the director of MARC, says, I've had the privilege of partnering with the library for over 3 years. We hold our monthly meetings there, and last year began partnering with them to hold monthly workshops. The staff are always friendly and accommodating. I'm very thankful for our partnership and prayerful that it will continue, especially with the core staff. They are a true asset. Sincerely. Thank you so much for supporting the library. My son loves doing the STEM on Tuesdays. That's a weekly program we have for roughly 8 to 12-year-olds. It is so nice to check out books for fun and for school. Thank you so much. And it's signed by Susan McCormick and her son, Caden. We have a weekly D&D Dungeons and Dragons group that is run by volunteers. Somebody says, the weekly D&D meetings provide a fun and safe place for my children, ages 14 and 19, to bring their friends and meet new friends. I also love joining in on the fun. This is a great community to be a part of. That's just a few of them. They continue to come in, so I'm going to give it a little more time, and then we will send them all over to you. And then the last thing I would like to do is introduce to you the new executive director of the Athens Regional Library System. I'd like to invite Beth McIntyre to come forward.
Oh, okay.
Hello.
How about I just stay back here? Is that okay, Leah?
Absolutely.
Welcome, Beth. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This is a wonderful community. I'm looking forward to working with you guys. And I'm going to step out when they finish so somebody else can take my spot.
That was kind of nice of you.
With the report, I should say, with the report, I would like to invite you all. We're going to have a blood drive with the Red Cross on April 21st from 11 to 3. We had a blood drive on New Year's Eve where we collected more pints than we had since I've been at the library, and I'd like to continue that trend. And also, if anyone knows of anyone who's in need of social worker services, we do have a social worker coming to the library monthly on the first Thursdays. If you'd like more information about that, I would love to talk to you about it. And I will.
Are you going to put that up on your website, please?
It is, but I'll send that to you.
Thank you so much.
Have we completed the repair of that water damage? That's all been finished?
Almost. The main thing that still needed to be done was painting, and that has been happening this month, and we're getting there. Hopefully this week maybe it'll be done. Close.
All right, thank you, and welcome aboard, young lady.
Thank you very much.
All right, we got at least one available seat if one of you would like to come up and sit down, you're welcome to. All right, well, ma'am.
Mr. Chairman, there's another one right there.
Yes, sir. There's a couple seats if y'all would like to spread out and try to take a seat, please. All right. Visit all the guest group from local visitors. Mr. Eric Neese from Carter and Slough. Thank you for coming tonight, sir.
Good evening. I submitted my draft report for the water feasibility study the other day. I think y'all have a copy of that. I got a brief, Christina's gonna pull up a PowerPoint presentation, some stuff there. And I'll promise to be brief because a lot of people have a lot of other interesting topics I know they're going to want to talk about. Go to the next slide. So I'm going to talk real quick about the current water use, what the situation of current water use in Madison County is, the population both today and going forward, the future water use we expect coming out of that, the water distribution model that was developed, and the water supply options we have for the future. All right, so today you have roughly 1,750 customers. Just over 1,700 of those are residential and other commercial industrial customers. That serves a population of about just over 4,200 people. And of course, GRP is your largest customer. They're about 1 million gallons a day. They averaged for the whole year 2022 and 23 right at about 640,000 gallons a day. I use that every day, but probably most days during the summer. I have daily numbers for them. Historically, you've been purchasing about 2/3 of all your water. Last year, with the James Holcomb well coming online, that helps you bring that up to where you're producing half of your water instead of purchasing 2/3 of your water. So that's going to help a lot to get that, but you're still having to purchase water. One of the things I want to note in there that Franklin County has stopped selling you water because they don't have any excess water to sell. So that's one of the issues. You're basically getting water from Commerce and everybody, sorry if I get excited there when you say Franklin County, and Commerce and Elberton. If we move on to population, the population, according to the Office of Planning and Budget for the state of Georgia, is about 31,000 now, and they're expecting you to go to about 51,000 by 2060. As I mentioned, 4,200 people are on your water system right now. That number we think on the low end probably could be about 6,900 by 2060, but on the high end it probably could be up closer to like 14,000, 15,000 people. If you get a decent amount, if you notice, that's only about half of the growth that would come into the county. So that would be very reasonable to happen. So the next slide shows you what that means to, I'm sorry, there we go. That slide, the 1,000, if you go to the next one, Christina, that shows you what the water demand comes up to. That puts us at a water demand of somewhere between 2.6 and 3.2 MGD. So you're at about 1 today, a little over 1. That puts you at a lot more water right there. So where do we need to go? What that means is we need to find water supply since we don't have to produce all our water. Go to the next slide, Christina. We did do a water model. That was one thing that got added to this project. This is a map showing the water model where all your pipes are. You can see they're colored. So the bright purple pipes are 12-inch, 8-inch. You have a good, strong background. I met with Rodney, Stephanie on Friday and talked a long time about some issues. And the great thing, when we ran the water model and we increased the demands for the future, these current pipes can handle it. You're not needing a lot of upgrades. Now, you would need probably extensions. You'd probably have new customers down other roads that don't currently have water lines, and I can't predict where all that would be. But this system, as it is right now, is a backbone to support up to 3.2 million gallons a day. So that's very good. You're not sitting here looking at needing a lot of pipes in addition to needing everything else possible. So that's a big thing I'll say. Obviously, it's really positive. One thing I'd say, that's partly because you've had a limitation of only mainly building 8-inch and 12-inch lines. Not, a lot of systems like your situation, they want to build a bunch of 6-inch lines because they think it saves a lot of money. And that then limits you to need a lot of upgrades as you start getting larger size. And if you have any questions at any time, please stop me and ask. So the last slide I have, water supply options. So that's the big kicker. We need water. We're going to need water in the future. And there's lots of opportunities. Of course, wells is what we're doing right now, and we can continue doing some wells. And as I mentioned when I was here a few weeks ago, you know, crystal and rock aquifer wells are not a long-term solution for you. Systems getting too big, they're not perfectly reliable. You're going to need to look at other options. Wells probably not going to be, might be a part of the mix, but they're not going to be the whole thing for the future. But you're going to need them to get you through that next 10 to 15 years. Purchase water from others is still an option as you keep having problems. Commerce is under pressure, as we've talked about before. Mr. Higgins and I have talked about a lot. They, you know, could be tomorrow they call up and say we have no extra water, so we can't do that. Athens won't sell any water to anybody right now, so right now it's getting really tough to keep getting water. And but you know, we need to talk to Elberton and see what we can get for the future. Next option, big option, obviously, is building a reservoir and water treatment plant. And that means different ways to be done. You could build your own within the county. You could do some kind of joint project with other cities in the county, with neighboring counties. However you wanted to structure that, that's pretty wide open as to what you could be done there. My biggest point I want to say is that's a process. Early last year, there was a meeting of a whole bunch of counties around this area talking about water supply and what needed to be done, and reference was made a lot to the Upper Oconee Basin Water Authority, which serves, you know, Barrow, Jackson, Oconee, and Athens Clarke County. And that project, they highlighted that, took about 20 years to develop. So it's not a simple process that happens in the next 2 to 3 to 5 years. It's a very long process. 404 permitting alone for a project like that usually is about 7 to 12 years. If you get 7 years, you're probably doing great. But you got to put a lot of money together to do that. There's pros and cons. I've discussed a lot of those in there. There's pros and cons to each option. You know, you control all of it if you own all of it, but you don't have anybody to share the load with if you don't. So there's no perfect answer. I think you need to start out, my recommendation would be to start out looking at all of them. I'll be happy to join Mr. Higgins and go meet with whomever needs to and talk to him about whatever we need to help get a clearer picture on where we can go in the future. With that, I will entertain any questions.
Gentlemen?
Eric, I think a couple points, and I read the report, and I don't disagree with anything said, but I think maybe, I don't want to use the word embellishment, like, but I think some explaining or maybe some nuanced conversation may be better. For example, we see the options and they're still on the list, but I don't, from what I'm reading, I don't think it's crystal clear. Maybe it can be clear for maybe the general public or lay people that, you know, you know, if you're on the axis and today is 0 at the bottom, we really need to move all these options
Correct.
Forward at the same time. It's not pick one or the other. It's
correct.
All of them.
I will work to re-emphasize that.
Okay.
That's a good point. Yeah, we do, and that's what I was trying to say here now. That's exactly right. You need to talk every option you've got and see what all that. I mean, part of that is, you know, wells, we don't know exactly how long they'll last. Crystalline rock aquifer wells are known to, you know, suddenly go dry. We're kind of mysterious. Nobody really can predict those. This is not like the upper Florida aquifer in South Georgia, which is the most prolific aquifer in the world. You don't have that fortune. You know, you're looking at waters and cracks between rocks. So it can be gone suddenly and without really warning. So, you know, those things we do need to plan for. They're not going to last forever. They're not going to meet the demands you have. What are those options? You know, we need to figure out better what Elberton can supply us with. We need to make sure we talk to all your neighbors about what they are looking at and doing. And then we need to start looking at sites. You'll have to, when you go through sites and go through the 404 permitting process, as you know, you've got to show them that you've fully thought about all your options and looked at everything and not just pick one to random. So you do have to do that. So yes, it's a process. We'll need to look at multiple things.
The other thing I think too, I don't think it deserves a whole, you know, maybe several sentences, but maybe you know, not a full page. But the notion of let me say non-customer use out of the aquifer, and we've got a lot of residential, I mean, a lot of rural farmland area, and a lot of people are going to more and more irrigation to support.
Competing uses for water.
Exactly. And so I think that's another component that, you know, looking at our comp plan, we want to protect that and use that, and it'll be a competing resource, just like you said. So I think just long-term, using this report as we move forward, several of those kind of type comments or questions or ideas, we might want to capture that way when we're passing it to the state or federal organizations or other planning departments or other groups that we're working with, that we're trying to look at the big picture.
Thank you, Commissioner Dolphin.
Just two questions or points, I guess. In the reality of what we're dealing with, short term, looks like the Elbert County supply is going to be realistically the one that we can depend on. So how are we fixed for that supply line coming from that direction? Is that an area that we need to consider? And thinking of locations for reservoir, is it within the scope of your study here to look at two different options? One, if we decide to be standalone, where would be the most logical place for a reservoir to be in Madison County, or if we look at regional proposals, where is going to be the most, who are going to be our most likely partners in putting that?
That would be following this study. That would be going beyond into the next thing, and I can help you with that. That's what I've done before, so we can work that in the future. That's where you start looking. Start to my sites. Of course, we've talked about the, you know, potential abandoned quarry sites or something like that. As you can see, I did do a very simplistic, so don't hang your hat on it, very simplistic reservoir yield analysis based on just a theoretical kind of reservoir that I created up based on data I've used before. You have a gauging station on the Broad River. I just wanted to see how the Broad River did through a drought. So I ran it through a long period of record. I can't remember off the top of my head, but the period of record was available from USGS data, and it showed that it would work to support up to, I think I ran 8 MGD. And I was able to get all that to work. We have the right size of storage, and it wasn't a crazy large reservoir. It was something reasonable size.
Could you please repeat that? We could not hear you back there.
Just repeat the part about the MGD for the Broad River, off your studies, off your findings.
Yeah. Can y'all hear me now? If I turn on?
Yeah.
Sorry, I guess the microphone went out here. I was just looking at the reservoir potential site. I didn't identify a specific site. I just looked at the data off the Broad River, because you use the Broad River as your source. So looking at that, I identified a theoretical reservoir and how that yield would work. And I was able to get to work up to 8 MGD of yield. So that was something that looked pretty reasonable for what you would need in the future. Well beyond what you look at 3.2, so well beyond that.
Thank you, sir.
Oh,
Yes. Other question, recognizing the timeline that you provided with the data that we have projected, population growth, time is of the essence to begin phase 2 of this process.
yes, sir.
I mean, we don't have the time to procrastinate.
No, sir. 20 years is going to be 20 years, and if you wait 2 or 3 years, it's still going to be 20 years to get done. So,
Yeah, if we wait 20 years, we'll be 25 years behind rather than just 20.
and if you wait, and part of the problem is, the wells, like I said, we just don't know how long wells can last. If you get into problems, then we can get into that. But once we identify, meeting with your neighbors and kind of proof for to be available at Phillips.
Mr. Kirk, do you have any questions, sir, for Mr. Neese? All right, thank you, sir. Okay, thank you tonight. Let's follow up with a phone call tomorrow, because I want to ask you about the pressure study. All right, appreciate it. Eric, just for clarity, because I saw you nodding a little bit in that when you were talking about that 8 MGD on your Broad River. Now, that's a perfect scenario to say, okay, if we collect this, it will not take much room, but then you got to divide that by the length of the river for people downstream too. So therefore it all changes. If you stop something at the headwaters, then therefore it's less going down. Just for clarity, because what he said was accurate, it just may not play in where you're at on the river. So anyway, all right, moving on. You're welcome to stay the rest of the night, Eric. All right. All right, I'm gonna move on to Chairman's report right fast. I'll make it brief. Obviously, there's a lot going on, with Madison County. Most recently, Thursday the 27th, we held, the Chamber of Commerce held the State of the County at the Jackson MC building out here on Highway 29. All 6 cities presented, and the Board of Education presented, and I was there on behalf of the Board of Commissioners, myself and Commissioner Doster. And we discussed many things about what 2024 looked like, what 2025 is going to look like, how it's shaping up for everybody. Talked about a lot of up-and-coming events, one of them being the Taste of Madison County. I think this is, what, the 3rd or 4th year now that that'll be happening, 4th year? Okay, that's coming up May 10th. A few other updates. That was a very good meeting. I think there was 112 people in attendance just to hear what's going on in the county. So that's a very good turnout. Other things going on in the county, there was a finalized purchase of 77 acres recently by the IDBA for a potential light industrial business park on Highway 72. We'll be talking more about that in the coming months. On the 21st of March, we met with Chris Dills to discuss the 2025 LRA funds. This is the grant funding that the governor gives to match the LMEG funds. We met with Chris to discuss which roads we could add to that process. Myself, Christina Baxter, and Alan Lazinski. I think we've got a pretty good plan together, and I think everything is lined out now. Gentlemen, you may have saw a copy of what we're looking at. Well, Christina, have you got that out? I think it's in the packet. Okay, thank you. Another good thing, we're just full of good things. Starting tomorrow, we'll be changing over our mobile carriers for the county from, currently it's Verizon, and we're going to switch over to AT&T. This is not necessarily going to save us that much on individual phone bills, but you got to keep in mind how many cell phone bills we have in the county. There will be some savings, but AT&T offers a thing called FirstNet. It was designed for first responders, fire departments, police officers, and ambulance services. It was developed after 9/11. And FirstNet runs off a different wave frequency than your average cell phone. So if there was a school shooting or a catastrophic event, everybody tries to dial out at one time, they all fail. All calls fail. This is on a different frequency for first responders, for the EMS, like I said, that call can go through. So we're going to be offering that service to our departments. Again, it don't cost us any more money, but we included a volunteer fire department in that. So the volunteer fire departments, obviously they'll pay their portion of the bill, but they're going to pay the county's rate on that. So they're in the contract. So when they go to an AT&T store, they'll produce information showing that they're a fireman in Madison County, and they'll get the pricing plan that the government gets. And the main reason is because a lot of times we do forget and overlook our volunteer fire department, but when there's a river rescue, who do you call? The volunteer fire departments. You know, when you have a house burning down, first person out, volunteer fire department. I want to make sure those phone calls get through. They also have a boosted signal based off of the frequency they run on, because we all know how the Broad River is. There's places they work and places they don't work. They've reassured us that we have checked. The service is better currently with AT&T than it is with Verizon. So anyway, knowing that these guys are going to have the best that we could possibly offer on the market today is a good thing for the citizens of Madison County. Now, statements and remarks for citizens on tonight's agenda. Now, I want you to please bear with me on this. We're going to take item number 14, if you grabbed a copy coming in the door, which is the resolution for the Broad River from Madison County, and we're going to move it up to the very first item number 7 is. We're going to move it up to get you guys out of here, because I know you don't want to spend all night talking about some of this stuff that you could care less about. But before I start, there's a lot of people here, more outside, and I've asked those, just for the room knows, I have passed a piece of paper, actually several pieces of paper around, and I've asked for every signature. Something wrong. Got a duck call. I've asked for a signature from everybody in the line outside. to number it, sign it. If they want to put their email address on it, they're welcome to. If they want to put a phone number, they're welcome to. But I wanted every head to be counted here tonight, because I think that if you spent your time, your gas, and your energy for this, I don't want the guys that was unable to be in attendance tonight inside the building to not be discredited, or to be discredited for not being here. So just so you guys know, we are getting ready for our newspaper is here. A representative from our newspaper is here, and we will give him the total head count that was here for this resolution, because I think it's important for everybody in the room to be noticed. Now, before I open the floor for statements and remarks for citizens on tonight's agenda, I want to be very mindful, because if you think about it, if I allowed 3 minutes for everybody to speak, and each one of you spoke, somewhere about 11 o'clock, I'd be getting into item number 7. So if you've got a consensus, and you've got a good speaker, and you know one of you are going to speak on behalf of 10 of you, I would appreciate those sentiments said by that one person. I personally, and this Board of Commissioners, knows the reason you're here. We all do. The reason the resolution is here is to protect our Broad River. I want to say, please be mindful of the next guy, if you don't mind. So make your statements brief. When you step up to the microphone, give us your name and address for our record. We're not going to send a drone over your house, I promise. Somebody else did it tonight. But please step forward one at a time, very briefly.
If you don't mind, we have some young people here we'd like to prioritize, if you don't mind, since we're trying to shortcut all my, I have several young people that want to speak. If you could just get them in first, if that's okay.
That's fine, but just be mindful of your time. Like, give me 30, 45 seconds, if at all possible. I don't want to disclude anybody, okay? That's not my
Speaking
opinion.
on something else, so I just want to get this out of the way.
Oh, okay.
I want to come and tell you guys how thrilled I am that I saw y'all were considering Dave Jones to be on the IGBA board. I have been wanting that to happen for years. Not only is he a great friend of mine, he's an extraordinary business person and mentor, and my confidence level is shooting up 100% of getting businesses in here that complement Madison County. So when you're considering him this evening, know that he gets Stephanie Harkin's approval, stamp of approval.
And that's coming from the volunteer of the year recipient right there. Come on up, young man. State your name and address for the record.
Yes, sir. My name is Caraway Best, and my address is 855 Broad River Road, Carlton, Georgia.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Like many folks here tonight, it's something that the ward put in my heart to speak on, and thought I'd share my sentiments with you all. As a senior honor roll student at MCHS, Madison County High School, I'm deeply concerned about the city of Franklin Springs entertaining plans to allow business that will dump industrial waste into the Broad River. For everyone in the surrounding counties, the Broad River is a way of life. My family's well draws from an aquifer fed by the river basin, and our tap water is the purest I've ever tasted. I grew up on the river, camping, floating, swimming, fishing, and appreciating its natural beauty. The Broad's water is so fresh that when it's cool, I never hesitate to cut my hand and drink directly from it. 40 years ago, my grandfather found the perfect home and bought 10 acres on the Broad River. While my grandfather, a blue-collar carpenter, was in the process of building his house, the family had no running water. After long days of work, everyone would bathe in the river. Now my family and my uncle's family live on parcels from my grandfather's land. Our lives revolve around the river. With the river's cleanliness in jeopardy, so many rural Georgians will face ruin. Allowing the evils of pollution to decimate our homes is the antithesis of the United States fundamentals. Teddy Roosevelt put it best when he said, "The nation behaves well if it treats the natural resources as assets, which it must turn over to the next generation, increased and not impaired in value." Permitting dumping into Georgia's last untouched waterway would be a despicable crime. Authorizing contamination in the Broad is abandoning wildlife, endangered bald eagles, dozens of fish species beaver, bobcat, a variety of foliage, the shoal spider lily, which is exclusive to the Broad, and so many more thrive and inhabit. Life around the river basin is dependent on its immaculate water quality. Despite the dishonesty of urban developers indifferent to the community, I beg you, as an earnest country boy here today, to refuse Pilgrim's rendering plant, waste management, or any other traffickers of industrial waste. If not for me, for the children and all the future generations. Keep the Broad River as clean as the day God created. Thank you.
I don't know if this room could have hold a better speaker. So, young man, I've seen you before and your accolades through the high school. You're a phenomenal young man, and this run, buddy, that was good.
I appreciate
it. That was good. You got it right here. All right. Yes, sir. Come on, young man.
Hi, my name is Charlie Lawrence. My address is 128 Dixon Drive, Danielsville, Georgia. I came here tonight because the Broad River is very special to me. It is at the very center of some of my most precious childhood memories. I very well remember the feeling of water rushing around my legs as I waded through the river with my brothers, the laughter of my friends as we rolled around in the mud, and the peace brought to me by early mornings spent fishing along its banks. Plus, in a time where most people my age spend their free time mindlessly scrolling through the internet, the river gave me a connection to the world beyond screens and technology, and I want others to experience those same joys for generations to come. The notion of building a chicken plant will change that forever. The waste runoff, odors, and pollution are not possibilities, but they are unavoidable consequences of such a facility. Our river will become tainted, and the fish and creatures that thrive there will be in grave danger of dying out. This decision is about responsibility. Each of you has the power to protect something that is sacred to this community. I ask you, members of the council, to consider this carefully. When the river turns murky and the air is thick with the stench of waste and residue, will you be able to tell yourselves that you did everything you could to prevent it? I urge you all to think of the children who deserve to build their memories along the banks of the Broad River. Think of the beauty that we are far too close to losing, and make the choice that promotes not only economic interest, but the well-being of our community. Thank you.
Good job. All right, young lady, you got big shoes to fill from both of those.
Good evening. I am Juniper Wagner, daughter of Christina Wagner, 310 Woody Road. Writing and public speaking is not my strong suit, but I'll do whatever I can to fight for what I believe in. I've lived directly next to the Broad River for 15 years, and my mother has lived there for a lot longer. She's an herbalist and has taught me all about the endangered species of plants and animals that live on the Broad River, and that it's very important to protect them. On clear, sunny days, the grasses are greener and birds sing louder with a clean, healthy river flowing constantly beside them. I, too, love to dance and relax and stargaze on the shores of such a happy, healthy river like the Broad River. However, when things like this happen, and chicken rendering plants are being built, where garbage and disease and death are to be dumped into Georgia's cleanest river, the planet is then not so happy. The grasses transition from bright green to a sad, dry brown. The animals get sicker and sicker and start to die and decay alongside the river. Skies are then not so clear. I then feel my heart shatter and the soft, comforting fingers of my childhood slip away. If this is my future and my generation's future, then I don't want a future. I have friends that are jealous that I get to prance in such a clean river right by my house anytime I'd like, and I'm very grateful that I have that. But if this rendering plant is built and the river is killed, I'll be jealous of my friends that they'd get to live in an area with slightly cleaner air than I do. My generation is made up of future scientists, herbalists, doctors, and so much more. And we care. We are watching. We are learning. And we are begging you. Save our home. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, I am Kaylee Cochran. I'm 16 years old. I live on 1808 Highway 172 West, Baldwin, Georgia. I am an 8th generation inheritress of land in Franklin County, and I currently reside in Elbert County. I live exactly 1 mile from Broad River. I'm speaking today on behalf of the wastewater plant and the rendering plant. I love the Broad River. It was a part of my ancestors' livestock for the past century. Our family is a fishing family. My 89-year-old great-grandfather fishes in that river. My grandfather fishes in that river. I actually plan to fish in that river. I caught a 15-pound Arkansas blue in that river last year. I know for a fact if the rendering and wastewater plant is built, I won't be fishing in that river anymore because the fish will be dead. I won't even want to drive across the bridge going into Madison County from Elbert County because I'll see the dirty, disgusting, rancid river that once was clean and beautiful. I implore you, please do all you can not to allow this to disrupt our people. No matter the county, this affects us all. I understand there's so much you can do, but I stand here today asking you to do this for your county, for your surrounding counties, and the future generations. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, if I can, we've got a couple business owners that reside in Madison County. I'm sorry, the businesses reside in Madison County. If you don't mind, I'd like for you guys to speak next. And you're here, and I see Ms. Stafford in the back. If you could please come forward and give us your opinion on this.
I guess you're speaking to me?
Go ahead, sir. I'm looking for the economical aspect of it.
Right. My name is Michael Moody. I have the Broad River Outpost, and it is a great business to start with, and I've got 3 copycats to it. And all of these businesses bring people to Madison County, and they spend money on gas and restaurants, and a lot of them live here. They come here because they're local. They cooked up. The treatment plant in Franklin Springs can be fixed with a few dollars. It's filled in with crud. They can dredge it out and start right away. They don't need to have this massive plant, all right? The plant can also be done, instead of having a 40-year, based on this massive influx of people coming in, they can do a really good plant that you can drink the water out of at the end. I've seen those in Sandy Springs on the Chattahoochee. And they're going to build this monstrous thing for all these people coming. Well, we know what's coming. We know these people are already in. They've been hiding the stuff. We've got documentation. They want to build this, a big rendering plant. The rendering plant should not be built here. We have really poor water here in terms of quantity. It's like the gentleman said, we got water all over the place. In South Georgia, here and there and everywhere, but this area here runs out of water. I can surely tell you this, every summer we run out of water. Georgia Power is going to put a big generating plant here. They had all that, Transco pipelines. Did they do it? No. They did not have reliable water. When you run out of water, what happens? You think this company, Pilgrim's Pride, is going to stop? Hell no. They're going to just keep running, and they said $90 million in fines they paid. They don't care. They don't care at all about you, me, or anybody but themselves. Big corporate, international, what a bunch of people. I don't know. So, at any rate, that's that part of it. That's about the stuff. Oh, yeah. The other thing is the EPD. The EPD is a political organization. You might call it an environmental organization, but it's totally controlled by the politics. And if you don't believe it, you're in some other land than I live in. Those guys will put a little teeny little fine on these guys if they do something wrong. They don't stop them. They just keep right on going. It's the cost of doing business. And if you don't admit that, you're in la-la land. It's all about the money. We all know what money's about. All right? Anyway, I let somebody else speak.
Thank you, sir. Stafford, you don't want to speak? You want Nathan to speak?
He said yes, we're not prepared to see.
All right, so I'll do it for you then. Ms. Stafford and her husband own, the Sandbar. It is located in Madison County, and I think they exit in Elbert County. And, one of the things that I guess we had talked privately about, a little shy, was how many people that they employed from Madison County high school students throughout the years, along just like you, sir. But anyway, I told her that I would mention that for the economic benefit that we have for our students in this county. Anyone else, before we move to the resolution? Anyone else like to speak? All right. Come on. He's coming right here behind you. 139 people outside. And it looks like there's about 67, I think, in the room. I don't know what's in the hall.
Thank you, Chairman Higdon, and City Councilman for allowing me to speak. I would like to apologize on behalf of Franklin County citizens for what Mayor Lee Moore is trying to bring in to ruin our sacred Broad River. Madison County, I want you to know Franklin County citizens does not want a Pilgrim's Pride rendering plant or a huge wastewater treatment plant. I also want you to know I am not the kind of person that can stand in front of you, a group of concerned citizens, and give false answers or just a blank stare. Yesterday, March the 30th at 2 p.m., I took a road trip to Douglas, Georgia, with a close friend of mine with an intent to see if Pilgrim's Pride rendering plant in Douglas, Georgia had a smell and what impact the plant had to the community. First off, to find this plant, state-of-the-art facility, Pilgrim's Pride rendering plant, you need to know the address. Get out your phones and pens and please make a note of this address. 1299 Thompson Drive, Douglas, Georgia, 31535. With the help of a local couple, I was able to find this state-of-the-art facility, pulled up as close as I could without trespassing, and let me just say, at this very second of my life, I wish to God I would not have eaten. For me to put into words the smell, I can't. But I can tell you, I wished I would have ate nothing that morning. So now, citizens, imagine how bad this smell will be. 4 times the size of this plant. I ask all citizens, take a trip to Douglas, Georgia. Talk to local citizens like I did. And ask them how they were lied to the same way we are being lied to. I challenge you, Lee Moore, to take a group of citizens and the leadership committee of Emmanuel College to Douglas, Georgia. Not Iowa, Douglas, Georgia. You see, people, Pilgrim's Pride takes everybody to Iowa. Certain times, certain dates, for reasons. If you show up unannounced, oh, you're going to smell it. And just like I said, you're going to wish that you hadn't ate nothing. So I challenge Lee Moore to take that trip and let them see our future. Let them see what they're going to smell in their future. And remember, times it by 4. Concerned citizens, help me save our sacred Broad River. Help me extend my wife's life. Together we can, and we will stop this. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Address.
And name, I didn't hear. Your name?
Oh, I'm sorry. Andrew Crump. You need the address?
Yes, sir.
121 River Ridge Road, Carswell, Georgia.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. Yes, sir. The man that don't need no introduction.
And I promise to keep it short.
Thank you, you, Judge Rice.
Just two things. I don't know if it's just was karma or what to have this gentleman here presenting what he has presented, and everybody else here, all basically talking about the Broad River. Folks, we're gonna need water. As he said, the best place for Madison County to get it is not buying it from Elbert County, not getting ripped off by Clark County, is the Broad River. Use the Broad, put a reservoir in there. At y'all's place, y'all get somebody. You got plenty of folks who can put it in there where it needs to be. But between his presentation and what has been said so far, gentlemen, turn this thing down.
Amen.
And Terry Rice,
In case y'all don't know, we love Harry Rice.
at least some of you did. In this room, it wasn't too often.
Yes, sir. If we can, I'd like to wrap this portion up around 7 so we can move on, if you don't mind. But,
Chris Irwin, 1673 Fred Goss Road. Thanks for the opportunity to speak. As a resident of Madison County, I come before you to ask that you help us protect the Broad. I respectfully urge the commissioners to unanimously pass a resolution with Franklin and Elbert counties to protect the Broad River. As a natural resource management professional for over 30 years, I've spent my career educating public and college students in the importance of making informed decisions. Decisions that impact our natural resources impact everyone. I hope that you make an informed decision to protect the Broad River. Thank you.
thank you, sir. Yes, sir. You. Yeah, you're good. You're good. Yeah.
You won.
There's all kind of sirs back there doing it.
Yeah, what's the law here gonna say? I know. You know, I've got a little bit of history
Name
with
and address.
these. John Merka, 786 Roy Woods Road.
Can you spell it last name?
Everybody says that. Merka. I've got a little bit of history with rendering plants. My father was actually hired by the University of Georgia. He was an extension agent. And what his job description was water conservation and waste minimization specialist. Big words, but what is it? Basically, he worked with the poultry industry throughout in Georgia, starting about 25 years ago, when a lot of these issues really started to be something that was really kind of being a problem. And I also was in the Department of Environmental Science at the University of Georgia. And my summers, because Dad couldn't find anybody else to do it, he suckered me into going to a lot of these rendering plants. And I took samples, and I gagged and went inside and took samples for him. And he collated data, and they did a lot of good work to help the industry. And I'm not really want to disparage the poultry industry, because I know they feed a lot of people, and Georgia relies on it. But Dad's been retired for about 10 years now. They've moved to Texas. A couple conversations I've had with him this week, and he's a pretty level-headed guy, and you know he's a solution finder. When I told him the situation, he was like, "Oh man, that's strong words for Dad." A couple things that he didn't mention about this, he's like, "I'm really surprised they're putting this so high on a watershed. Typically they don't do that." And you know, and he said typically the plants that he worked with, which they've gotten bigger since he's retired, 40 to 60 trucks a day are going to be coming into their county, and to bring stuff into the plant, got to feed the beast. Those trucks don't go down the interstate, by the way. They take county roads, and so we're going to be dealing with this in our county roads. And you know, the impact is going to be real. I know people will say, they'll come in and say, "Oh no, we got this handled," but keep in mind, you know, fines are always let, and violations happen after the fact. And so, you know, okay, they do have something that really affects this whole watershed. Well, it's going to be found out afterwards, and so we're going to be dealing with the aftermath. And if there's fines, they go to the state. They're not going to come to the county. And so, there's a lot of, I know that we want growth in this county, and I'm all for it, but, kind of question what you're asking for a little bit. And, I know this is not something that Madison County's cooked up. I know this is not something y'all probably even know anything about. And I don't know how much y'all can do about it, truthfully. But this is something that, all the counties on this watershed, we need to get together. And just like you were saying about the water plan, we need to have a long-term plan about what we're going to do with the watershed and how we can protect it. And, it'll have business opportunities, and it's our greatest resource in this area. We need to protect it. And so,
Thank you.
That's it.
Thank you. Eric, you didn't know you were going to have so many accolades, did you, sir? Yes, sir.
My name is Bruce Johnson. I live at 185 Friendship Place in Winterville, Georgia. And I will be very brief here because I understand how valuable your time is, because I'm often on the other side of that desk as a member of Winterville City Council.
Okay.
And really I had a lot that I wanted to say here, but folks have touched on that. What I'd like to do, if you don't mind, I'd like to give you a handout. I printed this out today. This is a petition that was started online just 2 days ago, and it has over 1,200 signatures in 2 days. And I think that's important to note because there's a lot more than just 100-something people that are here today.
If I'm not mistaken, it was around 360 in the first 4 hours.
Right, and it is climbing fast. So I showed you how, there's a note on there how to Google that and find it. I'll track that. It's going to go up quickly. And again, I won't take up any more time, but I will say I am from Douglas, Georgia, born and raised, and the gentleman is right. The smell is awful. And of course, we're all here because our voices matter, but in this situation, your voices matter more, and we're just asking you to take a stand for the Broad River and the community. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I'll let you round it out, sir.
Well, that's very kind of you. My name is Hugo Crispin. My current residence is 370 North Fork Road, Batesburg, South Carolina. But I grew up here in Madison County. I went to middle school and high school here, graduated in '78. And my subsequent career, I went around the world, worked everywhere from China to Chile. And I would say that the Madison County stretch, the Broad River, is a resource that is the equal of anything in the world. After that career, I changed careers back in 2016. And these days, I'm the executive director of a nonprofit called Friends of the Edisto. And I have the pleasure and privilege of being your Edisto Riverkeeper. This is actually the jurisdiction of my neighboring riverkeeper, Savannah Riverkeeper, Tanya Bonitatabas. And I know that she is watching this situation with concern, and she's a doer and a getter of things, so hopefully she will be able to help turn this away. I do just want to say that, growing up, I lived on Highway 172, just above Chambers Grocery, if you remember that. I was then driving in here last time I drove from Comer to Danielsville. You'd still stop at Gulf Sustain to get Coca-Cola. Don't let them do this. That's it. Just don't let them. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sir.
Mr. Hugo,
Yes.
would you spell your last name for me?
Sure, it's like Krispy Kreme with an N on the end. Krispyn.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And Tanya is a great asset. I work with Tanya a lot battling the sludge dumping that goes on in Overthorpe and Wilkes and so forth and so on. So she does a really good job throughout the state of Georgia, just so you know. All right. If there's no one else that just really got to press to get up here, obviously we get the point. And I think you're going to see that we hear you. I want to mention that a couple things was left off in tonight's statement. Franklin, Madison, Elbert, Wilkes, and Lincoln County are the counties that's looking at this resolution. I talked today, I got a phone call from Walker Norman in Lincoln County. He is going to have this resolution on his agenda for the 3rd, which is 3 days from now, 4 days from now, 3 days from now, sorry. All the counties down there.
Would you repeat that?
Walker Norman, it will have it on the agenda for the 3rd for the resolution. We spoke this morning, Sam Moore, Wilkes County, they're working on it. Oglethorpe County is working on it. Levon and Elbert County is working on it. And just for the record, Franklin County, best off my numbers and GIS guy, there's 4.6 miles of river actually in Franklin County. The other 54 miles is in Madison, Elbert, Oglethorpe, follow me, all the way down to Wilkes, to Lincoln, which dumps into the Savannah River. But anyway, I just wanted to state those few facts, that I have been contacted by those people. I have reached out to Jeff Cohen at EPD Director, Bo Hatchett, Rob Leverett, Alan Powell. All these guys are completely informed on this situation. There is really no more rumors. I'm sorry to the people of Franklin Springs. I'm sorry. I get where you're coming from. I've watched your meetings over there in Franklin Springs. Wow, that's all I can say. Wow. But I will tell you that I do stand with Courtney Long personally. And I'm not going to speak for my Board of Commissioners. They vote how they want to. I don't get a vote. But I will tell you that I've made a good relationship with Courtney, and she is battling her best for you.
Hey, can I say
People of
something?
Franklin County.
Can I say something?
Yes, sir.
Just one thing.
One sec, just make it brief though, please.
My name is John Chastain. I live at 1279 North Curve Road. I got one question asked.
Yes, sir.
And everything. Let's just say they put the plant in at Franklin Springs. Would you drink the water? I want to answer. Would y'all drink the water?
No, sir, I would not.
Okay. But the reason why is we need help as much as possible with this. Anything y'all greatly could do for us to help us would be greatly appreciated. Because we don't want to drink the water either. And y'all talk, this gentleman just gave an update about y'all's water system, talking about getting it out of the river. Oh, if this happens, you forget the river. Now, I mean, you might as well mark it off the list.
Yes, sir.
You ain't gonna be able to use the river. So, that's all I want to say.
Thank you, sir. If you don't mind, I would like to take item number 14, move it up to item number 7. This way you can get home at a decent hour and for you to have school kids. Them fed. Gentlemen, we have prepared a resolution for the Board of Commissioners of Madison County. Whereas Madison County, Georgia is home to the Middle Fork of the Broad River, an invaluable resource that provides recreational opportunities, serves as a critical source of potential table water for the region, and supports local wildlife and ecosystems. Whereas the residents of Madison County, Franklin County, Elbert County, and surrounding communities rely on the Middle Fork of the Broad River for recreational activities including fishing, boating, and wildlife observation, as well as for potential of providing clean, potable water. And whereas the Madison County Board of Commissioners is deeply concerned that these industrial activities pose a significant risk of contamination and environmental degradation to the Middle Fork of the Broad River, include but not limited to the introduction of harmful pollutants into the water, air, and surrounding lands, which may have detrimental effects on public health, public welfare, public safety, and local economy, and the sustainability of the river as a clean and safe natural resource. And whereas the Board of Commissioners recognizes the vital importance of protecting the quality of the Middle Fork of the Broad River for future generations, ensure that it remains a safe, viable source of water and vibrant recreational, environmental, and ecological balanced ecosystem, and is committed to the promulgating environmental and sound policies with respect to the Madison County and crucial water resources. Gentlemen, I would entertain there we go. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Board of Commissioners of Madison County, Georgia requests that the Georgia Georgia Environmental Protection Division, EPD, to take all the necessary action to prevent further environmental degradation of the Middle Fork of the Broad River, including thoroughly reviewing and taking all possible steps to regulate the environmental impact of present and future facilities near the Middle Fork of the Broad River, establish and enforcing stringent pollution control measures and the best practices for any proposed facility in the region to safeguard the health, safety, and welfare of the public and its water resources, providing the public hearing opportunities for public input for the residents and stakeholders of Madison County, Franklin County, Elbert County, and surrounding communities to voice their concerns regarding the protection of the Middle Fork of the Broad River. Considering mitigating the long-term effects on recreational activities, water resources, and natural environmental and all environmental assets related to the proposed development affecting the water resources. Implementing a comprehensive monitoring program to ensure ongoing protection of the water quality and air quality and public health in the areas surrounding the Middle Fork of the Broad River. Gentlemen, with this being said, I would entertain a motion.
Make a motion that this resolution be approved as stated this evening.
I have a motion by Commissioner Adams. Do I have a second? Second by Commissioner May. Gentlemen, any discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Challen?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Kurt? Mr. Kurt? Mr. Kurt? I think I lost him a little while ago.
Yes.
Yes. All right. If there's no further discussion, now therefore be it resolved, the Madison County Board of Commissioners urges the Georgia Environmental Protection Division to prioritize the sustainability of the Middle Fork of the Broad River as a vital natural resource for the people of Madison County, Franklin County, Elbert County, and surrounding communities of the state of Georgia. So resolved, this day, 2025, the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of Madison County requiring such action, and I will sign this when this meeting is over. If you don't mind, I want everyone to know, and I talked to Ms. Long today, and she needs your help. She hears your voices, but she needs your help. She's battling an uphill battle also to stop this. I'll publicly tell you, if we were talking about a municipal wastewater treatment plant, this topic probably wouldn't be happening right now. But I, like you, have received the 58-page documents. I've received all the other emails. I know what this is. Currently, Franklin Springs has almost a .03 MGD plant. As I heard tonight, there is ways to fix that plant. Requesting a 2.5 MGD plant and being led to believe that it was not something. I'm sorry, but it's a little appalling to me. And I have good friends in our surrounding counties, Hartwell, Franklin County, Elbert County, Banks County, Oglethorpe County, and I plan to continue to keep that relationship strong with those people. And for the citizens of Franklin County, thank you for coming out tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll be in touch. I'll be glad to help.
I had a stand
to the door.
That's great. What's that? We're gonna have to put you on the bucket. Can you go to the bucket? Oh, I love you. I know, you gotta be so proud. Yeah, good job. Yeah. I know, Brandon. They are what happened to the surprise party?
We can also go out Rodney.
Rodney,
Open that side door. Okay, yeah, open that one. If they want to go out that one, make it easier. Thank y'all for coming. Lincoln County has it there, a resolution for the park.
Franklin Springs has theirs coming Monday. Thank you, baby. This Monday, gosh, it's that the seventh, yeah, it's married.
Resolution.
Madison County, yeah, still mom.
Good deal. Thank you.
We live on out there.
That's a good idea. Everybody's coming back. They weren't straight. They weren't straight. But I do.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
We started helping out several years. We're already had that.
Now, this looks like a normal meeting, right?
I was hearing all the conversations.
How many days you go in the year?
A lot of us signed. That's okay.
We're all going for the rest of the night. Take care of that.
I don't have to, she does.
I know. Well, Jesus sake. But he does come down here, so that's good.
She was a brunette 3 weeks ago before Easter.
I know that.
Cheers, look alike.
I actually get letters from the Pope all the time, thanking him for marriage.
He does.
Oh, Lord. All right, come on, Miss Baxter. Man, she's like the closing time bar in downtown about 3 a.m. I know ain't none of y'all been there, but she'll usher you to the door. I heard it.
Thank you.
That little lady said that she's born and raised right here in Denver. All right, we're going to continue the meeting, so let's go back now to number 7. Number 7 has been postponed. This is Aaron Connolly, Andy, applicant attorney for Christopher Beck, requesting a conditional use for 286-foot telecom communication tower. I don't know if you guys have seen the emails, but basically they are looking at the current site they have, where Chris Smith was. That tower may work. So at this time, it's been postponed so they can do a little more engineering.
And we actually need a vote of the board to do that Tuesday. You have that date,
April the 28th.
April 28th, and that way we don't have to re-advertise it until we vote tonight.
That'll be fine. Gentlemen, I'd entertain a motion to postpone of this topic until April 28th.
So moved.
Second motion. Motion by Commissioner Doster, second by Commissioner Chandler. Any discussion? Hearing none, Commissioner May.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Just a question, I've been a little bit of trouble because we had so much interest on this. Is there a way that we can go back and pull up the list of those concerned citizens the first time and make sure that they are aware of it?
Most have called, I'll tell you.
I did speak to him today,
I did also, because obviously they were not aware of postponement, I just want to make sure that they're
Okay.
fully informed of the reschedule date.
All right, consider increasing the Madison County Water Department rates. There you are. Thought you might get out with the rest of them.
Do y'all have a decision, or would you like me to speak?
Well, that's fine, I mean, it won't turn, will it? That's all right, we have a copy of them in front of us. If you just want to explain what they are, would be fine.
Okay.
Christina, give me the breakdown
Yeah.
beforehand.
So you're looking at two different charts. One is with the blue header, and that just shows what the increase would be. This would be a very minimal impact to customers across the board, because it's going up $1 on anything over 3,000. So the price per 1,000 will go up from $6.50 to $7.50.
I missed it.
And then, their base rate will go from 25 to 28.
What's the discussion now?
So with that increase,
Water rates too high.
with that increase, it is going to cover, it's going to cover the next bill pay charge. So it's going to roll that in. We legally have to tell our customers that a processing fee on all electronic payments. So that way it rolls it in, and we're more likely to have those customers pay with auto pay and electronically, which will greatly help us in the office. The other chart is the tiered comparison chart. I personally think that this is probably going to be the best way to go because, as we heard tonight, water is an issue. And this is really going to push the conservation effort. Whenever you're watering your lawn or washing your cars or your house this summer and we have water issues and needing more, you're going to pay $13.50 per 1,000 after you get over 6,000 gallons. So it's really going to push that. It still does have a little bit of allowance in that residential option number 1 for 2,000 gallons. So it is going to be a minimal impact to our seniors that are on our water system. It would only increase their bill a couple of dollars. Those citizens typically use 2,000 gallons or less anyways. They're super conservative. So I think that it could benefit them and also help us with our conservation efforts.
All right. Gentlemen, any questions? So regarding the water rate tiered chart, does everybody seem pretty comfortable with that? If so, I would entertain a motion. We're welcome to discuss any particular topic prior to that.
And for the residential, they need to choose option 1 or 2?
That's correct. I would recommend option 1 that still does have a little bit of allowance in there. It won't be a huge shell shock to our customers. You know, it still has a little bit that they can use for that $27 a month. Again, we could roll that next bill pay processing fee in there, that $1.50. That would be another option that's up to y'all. We can run this several ways, but it's just kind of whichever way you all see fit.
So Stephanie, we had talked about all of this information too. And so when we were discussing if the board did choose a tiered residential option, that they would be also kind of simultaneously the commercial customer tiered option would follow that.
That's correct. So the option at the bottom with the green header, and really I have marked up this one since y'all seen it. So on the residential options, those two, anything from 1.5 meter and down are really irrelevant because our residential customers are not going to have a meter larger than that. If someone has a meter larger than that in their name, then they're more than likely using it for commercial use, so they need to be on that commercial rate structure. So if you look at the one at the bottom, this gives our commercial customers 0 allowance. So they're automatically going in with that minimum fee, and then it's at $8.80 per thousand, starting at a 3/4 inch meter. We don't have a ton of commercial customers, but this is a way that we can make up some of that revenue as well.
So the department's recommendation is option 1 for residential, and then the
The
plan
bottom
to
part,
model.
that's correct.
Okay.
Yes, sir. And then this would also do a new rate at the top, the proposed new rate that's in red. It's in red on yours? Okay, that one, so that ups our startup fee. Right now it's at $50 for you to come in, to set up your account, for our guys to go out, check your meter, make sure everything's good, bring it back, do all your paperwork at $50. So to increase that to $75. And then you can see the other areas that I compared it to are still higher than 50.
All right, gentlemen.
I'd make a motion to accept staff's recommendation to approve the water rates with option number 1 as identified, and just continue to, well, I'll say that for coming.
All right. I have a motion for option 1. Are you gonna do the tap rates too, or you wanna do that separately?
So the tap rates aren't on there, that would be
All right, we're
the,
just doing the water rates right now. Commissioner Doster?
We do commercial, you talking about including the commercial rate structure also.
Okay. The startup, the residential option 1.
Option 1, residential and the commercial, second motion.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Doster, motion by Commissioner Chandler. Any discussion, gentlemen?
My comment is just, as you've been doing, just continue to try to monitor it the best you can, and I know we don't need to make monthly adjustments, but, just be conscious and be diligent on, annual reviews and those kind of things.
absolutely.
I do have a question for Stephanie. Does that answer all of our questions? Because I know we talked that there's a lot in there. So we've got the startup costs, the customer residential, the option 1, and then
there's still the meter.
Yes, and we'll do that next.
Mm-hmm.
So my next question is for the board, or for Commissioner Doster, is an effective date. You want to add an effective date for the rate change?
Without option or without notice from staff, I'd probably say July 1st. I mean, just as a transition period together.
That's something. Todd? Yes.
Do we want to go up every year according to the CPI rate on that? Or we don't have to?
Well, I was sitting here, and that's my contemplation, and it's really not for tonight, but I think what we'll do is we'll watch it, and then come around September, October, if we look like, we're starting to get behind the curve, we will go to some type of CPI. I think that's the easiest way. I've had to deal with this in the past for years, and it sort of got 4 or 5 years behind, and then when you try to make that up, it's like pulling teeth, and then people don't understand it, so it's better just to have a guaranteed CPI rate. And if they want to do it tonight, they can, because we're not going into effect until July 1st. It won't hit the first year, no way. It'll be next July before it comes into effect, and we'll just kill all the birds with one stone at one time. Thank you. So.
And if the board wants to, as we're continuing to update policies and create procedures, that could be something that is added in, and once that's approved, we could put that language in there.
For conversation's sake, as we begin to approach our budget season for 2026, I think it would be prudent on y'all's part to go ahead and look at the CPI rate and build that into your budget so that when you show us what next year, what your wants and desires are, that we can see some source of funding for that.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we don't really need a motion for that. We just need to create a policy for the CPI, and then we'll adopt the policy. That'll be easier and cleaner, I think. Yes, sir.
I just want to say this is all still new territory for us, it is for y'all, before we're trying to build through this, as it is now the county department, and just keeping in the thought process that this is going to be an enterprise budget, or we're going to be dealing with this like enterprise budget, so it won't be like you'll be coming to us so we can get X dollars for these days, but all that should be built into the rates that we charge. But you know, obviously been a lot of thought put in this, and thanks for that. A lot of people put into it, yes.
A question I do want to ask, with us doing this increase, do we also want to absorb the $1.50 fee for customers to pay? They're still going to pay the fee?
The fee, if you go to a restaurant, or you go to a gun shop, or you go anywhere else, you're gonna pay that fee. I mean, it's there.
Sure.
It's part of doing business that way.
Unfortunately, it is the new way of life.
It is. I just know that several other water companies that I had looked into, they have rolled that into their fee to encourage the auto pay, so that's why I asked.
This week, I spent $3,186 to have a new well pump put in. Does that mean y'all gonna send me money because I don't have county water available? I'm just curious.
All right. All right, so I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on this one? Hearing none, actually it's on, Commissioner Kirk, are you there? I don't think so. I think we lost him a long time ago. Oh, he is here. Yeah, I heard him. There you go. All right, so I have a motion. I got you, buddy. So if there's no other discussion, I heard a yes from you. Is that correct? All right.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. All right.
Tap and meter fees, do we want to do that?
Yeah.
So at the bottom of the page with the blue header, it shows on there the tap and meter fees that's presented. I have compared, as we've discussed in the past, to other areas. It is substantially higher. So today I ran the numbers.
So this proposal is substantially higher than, is that what you said?
No, so whenever I was requested to compare to, like Clark, Jackson, Barrow, several others, there was just a big difference. Our poverty rate was much higher, our connection points were much lower, there was just a large difference in the comparison. So through doing that, I know that a lot of times we've talked about how these new tap and meter fees can be rolled into a mortgage. So look today, there was 49 taps and meters purchased in 2024 in the last 12 months. 9 of those were done by developers. The rest of those were done by citizens who their well went out, or something happened and they were forced to tie onto water, or they were farmers and needed water for their livestock. So I think that that's really important to consider, that it's not being rolled into a mortgage. These are just your regular folks coming in.
What percentage? 49 is?
49 is the total that purchased a tap and meter.
1,375 customers there now, residential.
Almost 2,000.
Almost 2,000. So 49 of those 2,000 customers would.
They came in the past 12 months, is what I ran the numbers off of, and only 9 of those were developers building a house to sell.
All right, anybody got any questions about the proposed price changes on the tap and meter fees?
Do these include the cost of taking the differences of, say, like a short side meter and a long side meter, or?
It does not. So if we have to do a long side that's more than 2 lanes, we have to outsource that. Customer pays 100% of that. Like across 72 where it's 4 lanes. If it's 2 lanes, we can do that. In the chance that we hit rock or something like that, then we can pass that cost along to the customer and tell them, this is what's happening. We have extra cost. But typically, we do that ourselves and we can include that in.
That's great.
You have all that in the customer service agreement?
Yes, we'll see, we have that written down somewhere.
Right, so in all of these policies that we're doing, these are things that we're adding in.
Yeah.
We're coming, Mike.
What is your, if you had to take a swag at what your potential growth is based on the last 3, 4, 5 years, is it averaging 49 or 50 a year? Is that what we're averaging on the customer?
Not sure that that's a great question for me. I haven't been here that long. So I really don't know the answer to that. Rodney, do you know?
When I started in 2020, we had, I think, 1,100 customers. And we went up to, what, 1,700 now? 1,850?
Yeah.
In the whole year, 5 years.
About 100 a year. Roughly. But we only issue about 240 building permits total, but now we're gonna see a little bit more coming, but it necessarily won't be on us, like then you build apartments over here. They're gonna hit 40 or 50 right there in that one spot quickly.
Right. And right now, because of our lack of water resources, I believe Rodney has expressed to not approve any other subdivision right now because we can't supply the water to them if they're on county water. We don't have the water to do that.
Let's calculating the 200 that we already approved.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Gentlemen, any other questions? All right, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve new tap meter fees.
Motion by Commissioner Doster, do I have a second? Second by Commissioner May.
Effective July 1st, second to
Perfect. You good with that, sir? All right. Hearing no other discussion, Commissioner Doster, it's on you.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Mr. Kirk, you in there, buddy? Yeah. Gotcha. All right, it's all needed.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, this has been a long time coming, thank you. And just for the board's knowledge, I did forward you that email from Mark Beatty, Regional Commission is going to, the grant that we have out there for like $177,000, they're going, because we're still really low in the funding of that, and it can go up more. They've agreed that Mr. Neese can add a policy writing portion to that.
We met last Friday with Jeff Dean.
Mike, you'll do it one more time?
I made the answer for you.
Right?
I knew you'd be excited.
So yeah, it's just more good things. I mean,
That and asset management.
and asset management, yeah. All right. Consider adopting the proposed policy for the Madison County Water Department guidelines for purchasing finished potable drinking water. All right, gentlemen.
You want to do a motion before we discuss this, all? I think that's the question.
If everybody's comfortable with done looked over it or read over it or anything, yes, I'll entertain a motion.
There's one area in there that I don't know if we need to change, but we're going to start, I guess I should have said up here, that I'll show it to you. So in this section right here, the EPD will generate and send the county and the well under the water analysis report will be generated. Okay, so the EPD will send that straight to us. Because we will be the ones, the water department will be the ones to sample the person's water. And then the EPD will send that to us. We will distribute, they won't send it to us. The UGA, the extension office in Pace will send that to us. We have to distribute to EPD and the owner of the well. Because we're the ones that turn in the samples to UGA, and then we have to report it to EPD, and then let the well owner know what it came back as.
So it needs to say right here, and county will report to EPD.
And the owner of the well to let them know what their results.
Gotcha.
What letter is that?
It is 1, so it's F1.
Okay. Oh, okay.
EPD.
So gentlemen, I'll entertain a motion with the amended changes to F1 being as stated.
I had to, if we're gonna do the motion that way, we'll go back to a different issue then.
All right.
On item G, and we have one, we're obviously considering another well now. We have one well currently that we are purchasing water like this. We're purchasing finished water. And this is not a reflection on either one of those individuals at all. Sure. But the reality of thinking about down the road and the potential for this from other folks. We are leaving this open for the owner of the well to be the tester of the well and the certifier of the well. Certifier of the water. That probably is not really good business practice.
But you gotta keep in mind that their state license are on the line for this. All liabilities is on them if something's wrong. So that's why you would want it in there. If there was no license that stood behind it, I would agree with you, the potential for liability would lie on the county. But since there is a license on the line, Eric, I see you shaking your head, since the license is on the line, that individual that's doing that testing would be liable for any potential.
I know too many people that are not willing to go to jail falsifying a license.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's sort of where we got that line from.
I'm not going to jail to certify something's wrong.
So on G2, it does say that owner will not be allowed to perform testing.
We modified that.
Yeah, we took that out.
The old version.
Okay.
Y'all that? What it feels like to me is situations I submit a job application and I list my mother as a reference.
As long as your mother was a licensed contractor, you could. That's the thing about it.
How many licensed water operators do you have living in the county?
Yeah, 3. That I know of.
Probably about it.
Get water from potentially 2 of the 3. Well, and the other reason there was another change here. It says at owner's wishes. So in G, the reason we changed that verbiage was if somebody got incapacitated for any reason, if they were hospitalized for a period of time, the county could step in and monitor if God.
And that's 4G. 2G is what we were just talking about.
Oh, sorry.
4G is what you're talking about now.
Sorry. Yeah. 4G is what I'm referring to. The owner's wishes, in case somebody got incapacitated, they could ask the county to do it for them at a decreased rate. Sorry.
Todd, in that, when you apply for a permit, you gotta have somebody backed up. In case that license operator or something happens, you gotta list another operator depending on the permit.
The best I can tell, we've covered just about, oh Lord, this thing's been doctored to death. I think we've covered every potential possibility that we could possibly think of. And also consulting in outside sources that do this for a living. So.
Now, do we have in the works a similar policy for those potential situations where we just be purchasing raw water? We have that.
It is in the works now. But because we didn't have a contract ending, we sort of put those on the back burner until we had this one corrected, adopted, so we could move forward and then we could spend our time. Because those are going to get a little more tricky on the bulk water side.
Yeah.
Whether we want
In all
to just
fairness,
raw
Stephen
water.
sent us all 3, but the chairman and I felt like
Yeah.
this was about all we
Yeah, let's take this one bite at a time, just to be honest. And that way we can get it right. And I think, Eric, it's some of that you're going to work with through ARC. You can help us get this bulk water versus a potential purchasing of a well versus not buying bulk water. Franklin County buys bulk water. That verbiage is deep and long and wide. Yes, sir.
Todd, if you look at number 3, I think, purchase negotiation, it says if the owner satisfies completes the step above. From their step back down to the last step will be determined if it's raw water or finished water. That determines who pays for that finished steps, to get it to finished water.
Yeah.
And that's where I think another contract would not be. I mean, this right here is a step you gotta go through.
Mm-hmm.
Past that step 3, it depends on who's paying for it.
And that's really the only difference in the bulk water versus finished water, is who's going to pay for it.
Who's going to pay for it?
So we had actually talked about doing some cut and pasting on the exact same verbiage and just add in a little bit at the top to
And
define
the
it.
same would apply if someone has a well that's a good producer. We would want to know how that tests out, so still
Sure.
use that
Yeah.
verbiage at the top.
The first, I don't know how many steps on there, but the first steps will be determined by the homeowner to see how much he's got. And that determines if the county, if it's 100 gallons a minute or 200 gallons a minute, whether the county wants to invest in the money to get the raw water.
But I really do want to say thank you, Eric, for sort of helping us through this. Mike, I mean, this has been a lot of work for this little bitty project, but I think we've got it. All right, gentlemen, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve Business Control for drinking water.
Have a motion by Commissioner. Oh, I'm sorry. Have a motion by Commissioner Doster. Do I have a second? Second by Commissioner Adams. Any discussion?
This is with the council's amendment.
Yes.
Yeah,
Right.
and, sit now and make sure we get that worded right.
The little comments I have is, it's probably been a long time coming. It's like anything, you look at it long enough, you can tweak, make some improvements as we move along. And again, with phase, as noted, the purchase negotiations, it says these are things we're gonna do, but they're not limited to. So as we find other activities or other things that concern us, we can add that into that contract negotiation.
Yeah, and I also want to add one more thing, because since Derek brought that up. The agreement we just adopted with Mr. Fortson with Madison Springs, it's much simpler. And it's simpler because it was prior to the policy. Sure. Because when I looked at them, we had a back and forth email chain. I'm like, with Mike, I was like, why are they different? Well, it's just 3 weeks, 4 weeks apart. And he took it into account.
3 weeks, 4 weeks apart.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I forgot about the policy in the middle.
middle.
So that was on me. All right, so I have a motion second. Any other discussion, Joe? Hearing none, it's on you, Commissioner Adams.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Mr. Kirk?
And we got them turned down.
You said yes.
All right.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. All right. Consider appointing, new business, consider appointing David Jones to the Industrial Development and Building Authority.
I moved. We report David Jones.
Hang on, I want to talk about his accolades first.
Before he changed his mind. Motion is on the floor.
Oh, man. I'm not gonna go through it neither, and I'll wait till I get a second.
Second.
Never mind. All right, so I have a motion, I have a motion by Commissioner Chandler, second by Commissioner Adams, and, man, congratulations to Ben Morris.
With our thanks for offering service back there.
Yeah, and the reason I say this is, David, Ben has had a pretty good pool of people to pull from in the wheelhouse that we could offer. You're gonna open a door for us that we was not able to offer. So I know between what I know Ben's got right here and between what you got right there, you guys are gonna take us to the next level. And thank you so much.
Well, the only thing I can say is, the last time I came in and tried to help the county had to do with putting fiber in the ground. And Todd asked me to lend a hand. He never gave it.
Oh, geez.
He's hired.
Can I borrow some money? I don't have to give that back neither then. But, no, David, thank you. But I do know how valuable you're gonna be to that, which is gonna, again, it's gonna shine on the chamber, and what they got coming up. I mean, we don't live in a perfect world, but it's pretty damn good.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely. All right, consider awarding seal bid contract.
Go for the vote.
Oh, I forgot. I'm just gonna do you right there.
It's called railroading.
Yeah, so if there's no other discussion, Commissioner Champ?
Yes.
Yes. Commissioner Kirk? Yes,
Yes.
love it.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, consider, now you can go home. Consider awarding, seal bid and contract for Number 2503, 2025 T-Splosh project. Yes, sir.
Motion that we approve the contract 25-03 stated with
I have a motion by Commissioner Adams. Do I have a second?
Second motion, before the correction, I pointed out Christina was 7.1.
All right. Noted. Any discussion, gentlemen?
This is a name correction.
Okay.
The previous chairman.
Remind me just the spread on who, what was the other bid?
It was.
On this one,
It was sold,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Now, the other project was pretty 10, 9, 10, something like that. One year at one. They come from everywhere. All right, consider an award, seal.
Good book.
Oh, I never did, yeah. I'm tired, guys, it's been a day. I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, Commissioner May.
Yeah.
Commissioner Kirk?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
All right, thank you. Consider awarding seal bid and contract for the number 2504 potable groundwater supply. Gentlemen, I'll let you know that this has been gone over with a fine-tooth comb as much as the policy was. Again, I want to thank Mike, Christina, Stephanie, Rodney, and everybody involved in this. Because we really never been down this road before. But I want to thank them because I think they got it right. Gentlemen, I'll entertain a motion.
Council, you comfortable with the argument?
Yes, sir. So obviously I had to rely on, these folks mostly did the policy, but, then I made sure everything, I made sure everything that's in the policy is reflected here in the contract.
Obviously, I've been sort of sticking the butt about this, and I appreciate everybody's patience. If we're not careful, this flirts with at least the appearance of conflict of interest, and I want us to be thorough, on top of thorough, to make sure that we avoid that.
Right.
So, in mind, I'll make a motion to accept this, let's get this, adopt this contract as presented.
I have a motion by Commissioner Chandler. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Doster. Any discussion, gentlemen? All right. With no other discussion, I am going to discuss something. Commissioner Chandler, I do not think that you were being a stick in the mud on this or two particular. I think you were just trying to get it right. And I think you done a good job. And I do think our staff done a good job, and I do appreciate trying to CYA, technically, us, and I think you done a good job with that. I think your questions were very warranted, and I think our answers was great.
Yeah.
So with that being
I'm
said,
very happy with it.
Commissioner Kirk, it's on you, sir. Yes, there you go.
Yes.
Mr. Dawson.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. All right, motion carries. Consider a resolution requesting, now, never mind, I done that. Let's do it again, it was so much fun. Not know, but, gentlemen, you got any road updates? Nothing from you. I like how y'all just email them to me, I appreciate it. Statements and remarks from citizens on tonight's agenda. Nobody left.
Nobody left their comment.
I can't even believe you're still here. You're waiting to buy everybody dinner. I'm sorry.
Rodney said he's buying dinner.
This is the road.
Oh, the road.
Yes. I lost it. Somewhere. I guess. Oh, no, I didn't. It's right there in front of me. All right. Sorry. The chairman's office has been approved for the fiscal year 2025 local road assistance funding, LRA. Madison County will receive $1.120 million.
$1,120,411. These funds will be partnered with the PDOT fiscal year 2026 All Systems project, which we were also awarded that grant. This includes Sanford Road, Rogers Mill Road, Crawford W. Long, Madison Street. The county will also be conducting required bridge repairs and maintenance to 4 county bridges, 2 on Colbert-Danielsville Road, 1 on Blacks Creek Church Road, and 1 on Rogers Mill Road. Sanford Road and Rogers Mill Road will receive the following: 2-foot shoulder widening, raised pavement markers, signage, striping, patching, and overlay. Madison Street and Crawford W. Long will receive the following: raised pavement markers, signage, striping, patching, and overlay. By adding the overlay surface treatment after the shoulder widening and patching, this will increase the structural integrity of these highly trafficked roads and prolong the road's lifespan. ILMEG grant. The county received $913,255 in ILMEG grant funding from GDOT. This project last date is for April 2025 to be completed by May of 2025. This project will be partnered with T-Splash for local projects cost of $2,320,000. These following roads will receive patching and OGI: Collins Bridges Road, Drake Woods Road, Racetrack Road, Johnson Bridges Road, Duffel Martin Road, Hardeman Morris Road, Stone Stewart Road, Jotham Down Road, Hudson River Church Road, Diamond Hill Culvert Road. The next list of roads will receive patching, OGI, and overlay treatment: Amberley Drive, Bellhaven Lane, Creekwood Drive. T-Splash. The county has received a sealed bid for this year's project. The county has budgeted $1,591,610. The project let date will be June 1st, with the completion date of September 30th. The project will be partnered with ILMEG to complete the pavement preservation for 2025. These roads will receive a micro surface treatment on Collins Bridges Road, Drake Woods Road, Racetrack Road, Duffel Martin Road, Hardeman Morris Road, Stone Stewart Road, Jotham Down Road, Hudson River Church Road, and Diamond Hill Culvert Road. 2026 ILMEG grant. County staff are currently drafting roads for the 2026 ILMEG application. ILMEG applications for year 2026 are due July 1st, 2025. And thank you, Christina, for that. Thank you. God, you don't know how hard she worked on that.
A question, when do you anticipate this work?
LMIG they're finishing up outside the county right now. We've signed a contract. They've already got their notice to proceed, so they should be beginning at the very beginning of April, this week or next week, for the LMIG patching and the OGI.
What about the LRA grants?
The LRA, once we get those funds, we should be receiving those. We were approved, I think it was last Wednesday. It takes 10 days. So we'll sit on that money for a little bit, because we're going to have to partner with GDOT on their All Systems grant that we received, because you'll have 3 different projects on the same 3 roads. We're going to have to work with contractors on doing the patching and the widening, which is part of our LMIG and part of the All Systems project, to partner with LRA funds to go back and overlay. So I think his name is Skip, he is saying that the let for this All Systems is going to be August of this year when they start bidding out contractors. So we're hoping spring of next year is when we'll do this Rogers Mill, Crawford W. Long, Madison Street.
Sanford Road?
Yep.
The only thing that I would suggest is that if it's the intent to widen Sanford and repave the Sanford Road, that work needs to take place after the installation of the water line and public utilities to the roads. We don't need to go in there and have everybody thrilled one day to widen the road, and 2 days later, let's go in there and dig it up.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Statement, just a question on the Drakewood Road. I apologize for not being able to make that meeting with y'all, but I assume we got some satisfaction in the meeting that you haven't had with, I can't even think of his name now, anyway.
I can't remember. I've been in meetings all day. I don't know.
Mike Allen.
Mike Allen.
Yeah.
Yeah, we never had a meeting.
I thought y'all were going to meet.
I think Derek and him met with him, yes.
I thought you were going up there also.
I never got the invite, I guess, other than, well, it was sort of, and then they set it up, they met prior to me getting there.
Mrs. Adams is still up, so we might need lunch.
Oh, right.
Boss is a jerk.
Since that's my ride home. Yeah, I'll tell you about this, so urgent matters, anybody? Executive session to discuss real estate acquisition, personal matters, potential litigation, sir?
No, sir.
Commissioner Doster?
Move adjourned.
Thank you, sir. On that particular one, so we put a pipe in there, and again, we waited about 6 months. So they dug it out and they put a 4-foot rock and it started snagging. It's got 4 foot of rock. So we don't know if there's an undermining spring in it.
Thank you so much, and in the future. No leave. Yes, thank you too.
Good job, guys. Thank y'all. Thank everybody. Thank y'all. Thank y'all.
I ain't worried about you, I'm worried about her.
We don't want to make it any harder on her.
Come on, Lisa.
Brian, take care, buddy.
Y'all have a good
All right, good night. Feel better.
Should've got hazard duty plate. It wasn't that bad. All friendly.
They wasn't even hostile. That one girl come to me, she said, you know you're supposed to put the phone in so you got room to set up. It was funny, I was like, you do realize this is a resolution, I'm just giving you.
Yeah, I do. I'm the not on staff, but they call me
If you want me to postpone it, I can. She said, no, go right ahead. I was like, all right.
Yep. Thanks for your patience. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Probably need to figure